Hi everyone, my name is Remy,
And I'm Luke.
and you're listening to the Weekly Outdoors. Hey Luke, it's good seeing you again. For all listeners out there, this is our first episode of our first series of the Weekly Outdoors, and we're excited to do this.
Very excited to
Yeah.
do this. Very excited. So this is going to be a podcast about everything to do with the outdoors, everything from skiing to diving to
Climbing,
paragliding,
canoeing,
everything. Yeah.
so anything that in our eyes is like an activity,
Yeah.
being outdoors.
Get outdoors,
Yeah.
having fun, getting active. And what we want to do is we want to talk about experiences. We want to talk to people about their experiences. We want to talk about skills. We want to talk about everything that is to
Some
do
good
with
ideas, some
Yeah.
planning, some good tips and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, because we both have experience, but you can't know everything.
Yes.
So that's
the
why we're here
thing.
for. Let's share.
Learning, chatting, and just generally kind of like a really cool radio station that is only for 1 hour every week.
Yep,
Like a really
we're gonna be
minimum-
here every week. Yep.
minimum
That's awesome.
radio station.
All right, so just a short introduction, so you know who you're listening to. My name is Remy. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm 33 years old at this point, and I love being outdoors. And also, I can't sit still, so I like being active outdoors. From mountain biking to swimming, I started scuba diving. I do wall climbing, so many things, and they're all fun. I mean, there's always something new to do, something new to learn. And I think that Weekly Outdoors will bring me some new ideas. I'm very curious.
It will.
Yeah.
That's the level of confidence that I have. And I'm Luke. I am from England. I currently live in Europe. I come from a very active background of cycling and climbing and running, diving, canoeing, doing all that kind of stuff over in England. And now I do a lot of cycling and I do a lot of canoeing. But then I lived in Italy for a while and I've done a lot of water sports. And so I'm kind of anything that is outdoors, I'll just say yes to. And then worry about the pain afterwards.
Always. There's always a
Totally,
kickback. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I mean, and that's why we came. That's why we came together with this idea. Of course, the whole podcast is talking about the outdoors, and just getting ourselves, active in this state of mind.
Yeah.
And doing stuff.
I think there's
by
a
talking
lot
about
of
them.
there's a lot of podcasts about the outdoors and about things, but they're always from like I just want to hear some people chat about stuff. I want to hear some nonsense.
Just chat. Yeah.
Nonsense chatting about the outdoors.
We can do that.
Yeah, and I thought
I don't know about the
Oh.
listeners, but we can do that.
there's no stupid person who's talking about things. I can do that very well.
Yep.
But no, so I just kind of thought, we thought this would be a really cool opportunity and really good thing to just kind of have a chat about and have a kind of like a pub sit down chat.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be fun.
I think it will be fun.
It'll be
I mean-
different anyway.
Like I said, I started scuba diving just a few months ago, and it's one of my new activities I really like. I'm stoked about it, and I really like doing it. So I just had 3 dives, really outdoor dives. Before that, it was just swimming pool exercises.
In like the ocean outdoors?
In the Netherlands, we have a lot of
canal?
sweet lakes and also half sweet, half salt lakes. So they're between rivers and the sea.
Just totally had this vision of like candy floss lakes. like,
Like
sweet
sweet
lakes. Ooh, wow.
We are in Zoetermeer at this point, and the nickname for Zoetermeer is Sweet Lake because it's
See?
it's
Sound
sweet
like-
and Lake Zoetermeer. Yeah. So,
nice.
Get
me some sugar water.
Yeah, I should have known. So yeah, I've done like 3 dives, and they were amazing. I mean, first I thought that the underwater world in the Netherlands would be terrible because it's so cloudy and there's so much floating around.
Yeah.
as a
It's pretty
natural
stagnant.
floating around. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But it's totally not that.
Wow.
And whenever it is a bit cloudy, then the vision stops like 1 meter or 2 meter, 3 meters, depends on the temperature and
Yeah.
the whole algae stuff. And but when you dive across the bottom of the lake, then your vision gets focused on this square meter
Yeah, you're just
of
looking
floor
at like,
of,
yeah.
and you can see so much life from a shitload of crabs and lobster. I've seen very large lobsters already, which is amazing to see them
Wow.
in wild, not in a tank in a restaurant being really sad and waiting.
You mean they're all like in the wild? They don't have elastic bands on their claws?
No,
Wow.
not that I can see. No. Yeah. No, you're just chilling there in a tank, just wearing their bracelets around their. Yeah, never mind. So yeah, it's pretty wicked seeing that in the wild.
Yeah.
Because they're quite large compared to all the crabs you can see swerving around. There are big crabs as well. And then some types of snails and seaweeds and sponges and all kinds of beautiful, like underwater flowers there almost. What's going on?
Sorry. I just totally lost it. When you said sponges, I just had this vision of like 3 sponges in like a plastic wrapper and go, wow, look at the natural sponges.
Like a scrubber sponge just being...
Yeah, like Aldi written on the side of them. Look at how they naturally form.
Oh, so this is where they come from.
Wow, this is how they grow in the wild. They're coming back of 3. Just had this vision.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
No, we'll leave this in.
Honestly,
Yeah,
this
no.
is going to be a very serious podcast. It's
Yeah,
not.
we already said it's going to be very serious. So yeah, no, these were natural sponges and all types of small fish and also very big, like a flatfish. I don't know
Alright.
the name.
Wow.
But yeah,
I
really
didn't think there
amazing.
would be that much like wildlife, I guess, in
but it's-
lakes in the Netherlands. I don't know why. I just thought there would be more like.
That's the thing. I
maybe some
didn't
mussels and
realize that
snails.
it's going to be interesting everywhere.
Hmm.
Imagine going into the forest. I went to Germany a few weeks back, and I was walking through the forest, and every time I looked at, what are you thinking of now?
God, again. Because we were talking about diving. And
Yeah, just
in the forest, and I just had a vision of you and you full
In my
diving
scuba gear.
with
Oh
your
my
flip flops
God.
on, going. I hope there's water somewhere.
look at all the life out
Sorry.
here.
Yeah. Can the air be breathe?
They're just finding a tree stump lying on my belly and just flapping around. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Oh, sorry. We can skip that one.
No, we'll keep it in. So no, what I was saying, I was walking through the forest, and imagine that every time you look at the ground, you can see something moving. It can be an ant or a butterfly or even squirrels or things like that. And if you dig with a shovel and you turn the earth round, then there's always something.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, and the nature is everywhere. It's so interesting to realize there is so much to see, and that's why when you go, when you walk through the forest, you don't see it because you can see too much forest.
Yeah,
You see the trees,
whole wood for the trees
and,
thing.
and you're more focused on a fence or on a building somewhere, a house between the trees
Yeah.
or the trail, and don't think about anything else.
I think I was in the Lake District like a week ago with friends, and we were walking from one village to the next village, and it's like along a road. It's quite a busy area. It was near Windermere. It's a really busy area. Walking along the road, and they were chatting to each other and walking, and I was walking a few paces behind them. And as I was walking along, I was like just looking around, as I always do, looking at everything that's going on around me, and I was like sniffing up, and I went, oh. Smell some wild garlic somewhere. So then I went, I'm going to try and find where the wild garlic is. And just on the other side of a wall, there's like this massive river, like a stream, but like a big valley down to the stream. And the whole side was just covered in wild garlic. So I leaned over, picked some up, and was chewing away on it as I went. No, turned around and went, what are you doing? I was like, oh, it's wild garlic. And they went, it's what? It's wild what? I'm like, look, so I picked some of them and I give them some. And they're like, oh my God, like this is just a leaf and it tastes like garlic.
And it's not wrapped in plastic.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's wild garlic. You can cook with it. It's really, really nice. It's quite light. It's quite fragrant, but it's really, really nice to cook with it. They're like, wow. And then we continued on and I was like, oh, found some rosemary. And I was like, oh, there's some. So then I was rubbing it, and rosemary, if you rub it between your fingers and sniff it really, really heavily, if you've got a blocked nose, it clears it quite well.
Nice.
And I had a blocked nose at the time, so I was walking along really heavily sniffing rosemary. And again, my friend was like, Luke,
What are you doing
what the
now?
hell are you doing this time? I was like, I've got a blocked nose, and this is a natural remedy for that. Of course it is. Why would you know this?
Yeah.
Just if you stop and just look around, I'm like, there's so much and like, this is on the side of a road in a really built up area. And I'm like, just look at what's going on around you. Look at everything around you. Like, people miss nature. People forget to look for it.
That's what the experienced divers told me, that you don't have to see that far, but still can enjoy that small part of nature just in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about the whole thinking about this. Going around out in the outdoors and enjoying nature in a different way.
Yeah.
So not going outdoors and like, okay, how much do I have to pay for this activity? And my suit doesn't fit really good. And so when you do something being outdoors, try to focus on the right things and not just only look at the big picture. I mean, the big pictures are nice. If you can see a picture of big mountains, that's beautiful. Like having a big view.
Yeah, the beautiful vistas are absolutely
they're amazing. They're amazing. But then again, if you look down at your feet, there will be something amazing at right in front of you, like the color of stone or a little bit of grass or a moss or a mushroom or something. It's all so interesting.
It's like the big view is just as stunning as the tiniest little thing. If if you stop and just look at them all. And there's a picture that I have that I took in. I think it was in Scotland on Ben Nevis, and it's a bit of one of them fake pictures because it looks like I'm in this really big crevasse with an ice bridge over the top of me and water running underneath it, and it's actually maybe 20 centimeters tall, 30 centimeters tall.
And you're way behind it.
But so it's not of me, it's just of like the view. But I put my camera down. It was like a tiny little stream on the side of a path. And it had this little bit of snow that looked like a bridge, and it was like ice on the side. And I went, oh, look how cute that is. So I put my camera right down into the water and took the picture, like looking up into the bridge. And then when I looked at the picture, I was like, wow, that looks like a 200-foot crevasse that it's dropped in. I'm like, it's like 20 centimeters tall at best.
But that's the interesting thing, because nature doesn't work in scale like you would think.
Yeah.
Because anything small has the same detail as something big.
Yeah.
So it works completely.
It was so crazy. So
awesome.
crazy. But I mean, I've been diving once, and that was in Crete, and that it was in the ocean, and that was very much the same kind of, the instructor took us around like this a valley almost, and like you went along one edge of the cliff, then you crossed over the valley, which felt very, very strange because you were floating through the middle of the valley.
Having such a deep end on the...
Yeah, and I'm like, shouldn't we go down to cross the valley to come back up the other side? Like, if you're hiking, you go down and then you come back. Yep. You can't just float over the middle of the valley. But it was really strange because I didn't feel as though I was like swimming at any point. Obviously I was, but I didn't feel as though I was because I was so close to the rock edge and I was looking at like so close to the rock edge. And then when we crossed over the valley, I was like, okay, now I feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere and I could fall. But I'm like, I'm in water. I can't fall. Like, falling's not. Nope. It was, weird. A very strange sensation. Because it looked so much like a normal, like, the water was so clear. It looked like it was just a regular valley with life on both sides and this, like, just an air gap.
Yeah,
and
he was like, you just have the feeling you're walking along the edge.
Yeah. And then he was like, let's just walk out into the air. I'm like, what? We can just go out into the... I'm not going to fall, right? Like, mind blown. So crazy.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, I haven't been into very deep visible parts yet. Also because I'm star diving and I'm going for my first star in the CMOS scale, so it's like Paddy,
Yeah, yeah,
comparable to Paddy, but then in a different way. So I don't do it in 3 days.
right.
It's over a longer time, diving several times with experienced divers, having theory books and tests and everything. So and also diving in very unclear water makes you a very different experienced diver,
Yeah, definitely.
especially with
can well
your with the buddy system, of course. Then you have to very communicate well, because you don't want to lose each other, because you're gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very interesting learning it this way, and I like that, because we're into safety, and I think that's a very good way of keeping yourself safe, being aware of your situation and situation of your buddy. For the people who don't know what buddy is, that you dive with the two normally, so you have
Yeah.
yourself and your buddy.
Don't dive on
So
your own.
there's there are a few people that do that, and it's not the best for safety. at
I
least.
think, like, I mean, I personally, I think that kind of laps over into a lot of outdoor sports, especially when it comes
yeah.
into, like, cycling. Go cycling on your own. I don't think
Well,
you.
then again, if you go mountain biking,
But yeah, I think mountain
Across a cliff
biking. It
or
depends on
something.
where. Like, I used to do a lot of hiking on my own,
Mm-hmm.
and I would go to a hostel, stay at the hostel, tell the person I'll be back around about this time.
right,
This
yeah.
is roughly where I'm going, because I was going on my own, and so I would always make sure that I'd tell somebody where I was or what I was intending on doing, because it can happen so often that you
Something
hear it
goes
where you just go,
wrong.
something goes wrong, and then they're like, oh yeah, well, no one was really expecting us back.
Right.
No one knew that I was going up there, and so you then, if you can't get in touch with anybody, you're then kind of hoping that someone will go, wasn't there a guy booked in tonight? Yeah, maybe.
What was his
We'll
name?
see if he
I
comes
don't know.
tomorrow.
The guy- was that the guy with the glasses? I don't know.
Yeah.
Might be. Yeah.
Yeah. Drunk English guy? Yeah, I know who you mean. I know who you mean
Right.
now. But yeah, I think, like,
So yeah, I think we should introduce the buddy system into all the activities.
yeah, I think,
And it's more fun as well. I mean, when we go rock climbing, you need someone to hold the rope, unless you're climbing.
like a crazy free climber.
Yeah, well, you have free climbers, but you can also do your own rope systems.
Yeah, yeah.
But then again, if something goes wrong, you're stuck.
I just think a buddy system in most things is just, happiness is best shared.
True. That's why we do the podcast together, right?
Yeah, this is why I tried doing this on my own. I was like, what do you think, Luke? I think a lot of things. What do you think, Luke? I think a lot
What do I
of
think
things.
about it? Yeah. Yeah, we also need the listeners, of course. Without the listeners, it will be very sad, us just having fun together.
That sounds so weird.
Yeah, that's why we need the listeners. That's
I'd like
not weird
everyone
again.
to know that we are dressed. I just feel as though that's
Yeah.
important.
It's good to have that in guest. Yeah.
But no, I just think, like, the buddy system, or at least, like, I just think a buddy system is a good thing that could be implemented in a lot more
I think it came up
things
in
and should be.
diving because diving is is also done professionally
Mm-hmm.
on a very risky scale. Because there are so many things that are risky,
Yeah, yeah.
and also the whole decompression thing. They know it's a fact, but they still don't know why or
Yeah.
what it exactly is. So there are so many risks you can take, and if you get like if you get unwell or sick or nauseous or something, you can't just go up. So there are so many risks you have to take at that point.
I think with diving as well, if something goes wrong immediately, hypothetically your oxygen was cut, or your oxygen tank showed up that it had a lot in it, and then it turns out that
Yeah, breaks or
it
something.
was wrong, and
Yeah.
you run out of. You can't, unlike pretty much every other activity, when it gets wrong. If you're out mountaineering and you're in the middle of a snowstorm and you get totally disoriented, a complete whiteout, you completely lose everything. You can stop,
Yeah.
sit down, take a moment, and recalibrate yourself, and re-figure out where you are. When you run out of oxygen
You
underneath
can't stop
water, you
diving.
can't go, okay, I'm just going to stop, take a moment,
Yeah.
and then you can't do that.
So
You
the
haven't
difference
got
here
that
is
chance.
that it's your life support. You're
Yeah.
carrying your life support, and if
Yeah.
you lose that, there's a problem.
if that comes along,
Yeah.
you can't just go, okay, so I've lost my life support. Well, let me just give me 5 minutes. Let me just deal with this in my time, okay? You're like,
And also when
"Nope."
you're diving for longer, if you take a long deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
then you need time to resurface and do the
Yeah.
decompression and everything. We can talk about it in another episode about scuba diving and the techniques
Yeah, no,
and everything. But
specifically.
if your oxygen runs out, I can share mine, but then we have half the tank.
Yeah.
So you have to
We're
go
going
up.
up.
Yeah. Again, if there's something wrong, you are going up. That's a fact.
Well, it's just not worth, as you say, because then, okay, can I borrow your oxygen? But we'll continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then later on we'll take 5, and then we'll think about the problem.
No, in diving you go up. Yeah. So I think the buddy system came up in diving because you have your life support, and the
Yeah.
risks are just, you can't stop diving in the middle of your dive.
Yeah.
You have to finish your diving. And like you said, when you're hiking or cycling or climbing, you can just stop for a second.
You can, yeah.
Unless
No,
you're
definitely.
free climbing, then you have a different situation.
Yeah. Oh, my arms are really tired. I'm
I'll
just going to
just
hang
let you-
here for
yeah.
5. Let's think about this.
Shit!
Yeah.
Just like that. Yeah.
I should have paused for 4. So I done just a different thing that's just pinged into my mind. One, I'm seeing some awesome skis, which are like proper traditional wooden. They're touring skis. Are they touring skis?
They're shelf
um,
stands. These are props.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
They look so
Yeah,
cool. They look
I
like
know.
real traditional
I'll show them.
Swiss
Yeah, but
style.
that's I'm a prop maker, and we both we know each other from theater. For the listeners out there, and we are both technicians in theater, but I also make props, and here in the studio I've got some props laying around so you can see skis I made, but they're totally fake. You can try go down a mountain, but I don't think you will come
Well,
far.
we'll cut this bit out then. Screw the skis.
No, we'll keep it in.
But however, what I was going to say was
Yeah.
I went geocaching
All right.
the other day, and it's one of them things I've always thought I should do this. I should try geocaching. And it's just again one of them things. I'm like, I guess it's. So I went geocaching on a lake with the paddleboard. And on the side of the lake and in like a few islands on the lake, people had put the geocaches all around, and it was like a little route that you'd done.
So you just hop on and off.
Yeah. So you paddle along, and then like it might be like in some reeds, and there's like a
right, yeah,
wooden
yeah.
pole that's buried in it. And then you kind of take the top of the wooden pole off, and there's the little geocache book inside of it in like a plastic tub. You take that out, you write your name in it, you see who else has done it, you put it back in.
That's nice. So
It's like-
that's the quick explanation of what geocaching
That's
is.
geocaching down to a
So
nutshell.
yeah.
You're
Let
looking
me-
for a
let me
little
re-
book.
Let me repeat for a little bit because geocaching is very interesting. I have never done it, but I have seen a lot of people because you can see what they're doing
Yeah.
when they're doing something strange in its totally strange place.
You're in the middle of
I
a
might be
city
wrong,
looking
but
for
you
a
know,
book
yeah.
on the floor. What?
So yeah, geocaching you can use an app. I
Yep.
think it's just a mobile app at this point.
Yeah, it's just a downloadable.
And there are geographic locations, so you can just find them. And when you found the location, you have to find a small item or box or notebook or
It's
something.
like a tiny little. It's like what, maybe 2 centimeters by 10 centimeters, like a little book. And you take it out. Like, normally in like a little tube. You take it out. You write your name in it, or like a stamp. You say what the date was, and then you
Put it back.
pop
and
it back
then,
in. Then you clock it on your app,
Yeah.
saying I've been here,
You
I've
found
done
it,
these
and-
ones, and
Because there are also some of them that are put in small surprises. Things
Yeah,
you can
yeah, you
take,
can
or
get- yeah.
even trade boxes. You can put something in and then
yeah,
take something out,
Some of the big ones,
which is very nice. It makes it I think it's a little big adventure.
Yeah, it is. It's one of them. It's so simple to do. You're just walking around looking for things, but it's whenever like I guess I've never really done it, or I've never understood it, because I've always been too focused on the activity that it is that I'm doing. So if I'm going paddleboarding, I'll go paddleboarding.
Yeah.
But then when my friend was like, "Let's go paddleboarding and do a geocache," I was like, "Well, hang on, you can do more than just paddleboarding when What?
What
You
we
can
are
do-
men.
You can do 2 things at once? what?
But then you are taking your phone on the water, which is
Yeah, that was.
Interesting.
So I have it's a waterproof phone.
okay.
Is
That's
one.
Yeah.
And I'm quite balanced on a paddleboard now.
But did you bring goggles?
I'm quite confident.
Because when you drop it, it's gone.
Yeah, that was my only thing. So like anytime that I put it in like a zipped pocket on my
a zip
chest.
pocket. Okay. Yeah.
And then anytime that I had to get it out to look for where the next one was, I would sit down on the paddleboard because I'm like, I'm not going to fall off if I'm sat down on the paddleboard. So I'd sit down and then look at it and then go, okay, zip, stand back up.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that's good.
I'm
that's
just
good.
not bringing that kind of risk
Yeah.
into that at all. Mainly because one of my old phones, it said it was waterproof. So there's a difference between being waterproof and being sea-proof. Salt does
Right.
not do technology very good.
Nope.
Learned that the hard way.
Yeah, my GoPro knows this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I took my phone into the sea when I was paddleboarding to get some really good shots. And I got some absolutely amazing photographs.
And thinking that, it's waterproof. so
Yeah,
it's
and I'm
fine.
thinking I won't submerge it, but it's going to get splashed. It's going to, the waves and things. It's going to go under a little bit, but it's not going to be too bad. I think it worked for about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes while I was paddleboarding, and then the screen stopped working, and I thought, oh, maybe it's because it's wet and it's not picking up my finger.
Yeah.
And then like
It's all fine.
it started flickering a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting. Oh, it's gone black. Turn it on. Turn it on.
It just wasn't working.
Okay then, maybe the battery died. Never came back. Fortunately, the pictures that I'd taken were on an SD card. So I took the SD card out the phone, put it into my computer, and was like, yay, I got some really good photographs. And it cost me a full phone. So it's, these pictures are worth like £1,000. Yay!
Well, I had the problem. I went to Greece last year and with my cousin, and we went snorkeling. And I brought my two GoPros. I bought two secondhand GoPros.
Oh, cool.
And one was the Session 5, which is one of the latest versions, and it's waterproof on its own, which is extremely good. It's small, it's light,
They're
it's
absolutely amazing.
waterproof. They're great. And so I made a wrist mount because I ordered one, but it didn't came in. So I fiddled around I make props, so I'm quite handy. So I used one of those skater wrist braces.
Ah, yes.
And I remounted something with a GoPro connection to it. And I took it along. It worked perfectly fine. We used the selfie sticks and all kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
And then one morning, I charged my GoPro at the apartment, and I took it out and put it in my bag, and we went to the beach. And we were going to some floating island, like slides and stuff. And so I put it on my wrist, and I was swimming towards the island. I was like, oh, it would be nice to just take a small video from this angle and see the whole island. And so I pressed the button, and it didn't beep. So I was like, okay, I'll try again. And I pressed it again, and it didn't beep. And then I turned it towards myself, and I saw the small hatch being
The door's
opened.
still open.
Yep. So I unplugged it from my charger at the apartment, but I didn't close the hatch.
Yeah.
And then it's not waterproof.
Yeah.
So I swam back. I took out the SD card and put it in my mouth because it's sweet instead of salt to prevent it from being too long in the salt water.
All right. Okay.
Which sounds strange, but it's better for electronics at that
no,
point.
definitely. You need to
Because
get
I
it
was
out the
in the
salt.
middle of
Get-
the sea.
Get
so
it
yeah.
out the salt.
So I swam back and I put the SD card and the camera in the sun. But the problem is that the whole casing is waterproof, watertight, and there's
Yeah.
just a small hatch.
Yeah, you're hoping that the GoPro needs to get hot to evaporate out this tiny little. Yeah.
It's not going to happen. And then the salt will stay indefinitely. So
Yeah, the water will go, but
yeah. And there was white water coming out. So I don't know what's, it's maybe
yeah, quite like
soft something. I don't know. So it was dead.
that's a
Most definitely. Yeah.
This is a big thing of technology in the outdoors. Like we have so much good technology nowadays,
Yep.
for like GoPros, and different glasses and coats.
Yeah,
that,
and big
like,
underwater casings
Yeah, and, like, all
and
of it.
heavy, bash proof
and
stuff.
it's like you just like so one of my biggest pet peeves on technology in the outdoors is people that go out hiking or mountaineering, or just day walking with just a phone.
Yeah.
That really annoys me. Just because, and let me explain this.
Yeah, I'm
first.
waiting.
Because so this is coming from an experience of being in the Lake District, and I'm quite regularly up on the mountains. And I go up on the mountains on my own, as I say, with friends, take other people, take guided tours up there. And I have probably rescued 20 or 30 people from the side of a mountain where they've came out, let's go for a little hike. We've got our shorts on, we've got our shoes on, put some sandwiches in our bag, some water, and we'll go up on the side of a mountain. And they go up, and then they realize that, it's colder when you go up than it is down at ground level. So then they're cold, and then they're like, oh, well, we can keep on going. It's not too far. It's not too bad. And then, it's starting to rain, and you're in the cloud now. So it's now going to start getting, your visibility is going to start coming down, and then
Sun's going down.
yeah, sun's going
wind's
down,
picking
and
up.
then I've lost GPS signal, and my phone won't get any. It won't update the map because it's in the wrong. And then they're trying to play on the phone, but they've been taking pictures, they've been doing all of that, and then your phone dies, and then you kind of go, okay, well, we just go back the way that we.
The long way.
Right, which way? Okay, so now we're in the cloud and we can't see which way back it is. Which way is it? And honestly, so the one that really sticks in my mind, there's two that really stick in my mind, but the one that was the biggest one was on Scafell Pike, which is the tallest mountain in England.
All right.
And there's a section of that called the corridor route, and you come up it's a really, really popular route. You come up and then you walk along kind of like a scree path.
Okay.
So you're walking along, it's loose rock on either side. It's a very obvious path. You walk along that, and then you come up to a big open area where you then have to follow cairns, which are like piles of rocks.
Okay.
So you then follow the cairns, and that takes you to the top of the hill. Now, when the visibility comes down, you can't see where the next cairn is sometimes. And I've been disorientated on the top of that because it's very, very cloudy. And so I was hiking up there with my map, and I know, I've done that route like 20, 30 times. So I know the route. I know it really
some
well.
Direction, yeah.
So I keep the map and everything in my bag, and I'm like, I know where I'm going, hiking away. And I get to the top, and I sat down, had a cup of tea. It was in cloud, so you can't see anything. I've done it numerous times, and I've never ever had a good view from Scafell. Never yet. And anyway, so I was up there, and then this guy come past me, and he said, hiya, hiya, and he continued off. And then he come past me again, like 10 minutes later, and he went, hi, hiya. I went, hi,
Okay.
you all right? And he went, oh, I'm really lost now then. I said, oh, why? Like, what's the matter? He said, I thought I was heading down, but I think I've just done a big circle.
Well, it's good that he found you, otherwise you...
So basically, he'd got onto the edge. He got onto the top, and it's quite a big plateau. And trying to figure out where the cairn was to go down, he seen one, but because he thought that he was facing one direction instead of the other, he then headed off in that direction to find the other one, but there wasn't one. So then he had a drop on one side, and he was like, right, well, I don't go down the drop because I need to find where the next cairn. So then he basically done like a big loop around the edge and then came back to me and went, hi, what, you? And I was like, I haven't moved. And he's like,
you were standing still.
I was still still sat there having my tea and went, bye then. And he walked off and then come back. Hi, what? And I was like, hi again. Did you get bored? Do you like the view?
Yeah, like being your twin brother or something.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, I've just got a little bit disorientated. And I said, oh, if you need a compass, really, get your compass. You can take a bearing and get off it. He went, oh, I haven't got a compass on me. I said, well, get your map.
The funny thing would be if he would whip out his phone. Like, yeah, I got a compass on my phone. I've got an app for it. Yeah,
yeah, there's an app for that, isn't there? And I was like, oh, well, we'll get your map out and I'll use my compass. I'll put you on a bearing and then, you'll be able to at least get for the next few cairns.
Please tell me he went around again.
No, he then went, oh, I haven't got a map on me. I went, right, okay. How have you got here? Like, what have you got? He said, oh, I used my phone, but my phone's dead now.
There we go.
So I can't figure out how to get down.
And next time, ask him, where's your buddy?
Yeah, that was the thing.
Go,
I was like, what are you doing on your own up here with obviously no knowledge and no experience? He had shorts on in freezing. I was like, what? He was like, oh, I'm doing the Three Peaks, which is the tallest in Scotland, tallest in England, and the tallest in Wales over 24 hours. He said, oh, I'm doing that on my own. And I was like, what, with no map, no compass, no
That's weird.
gear, no anything? He's like, well, I mean, Scarfell, you can do it in like maybe 4 hours, 5 hours in the quickest way. And that's what he thought. I'll just run up it, run back down it. And so he obviously ran up it, got stuck in the cloud, and then went, oh, I don't know anything now.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, dude. Like, you are the reason why we want to shut the Lake District down for tourists. So I was like, come on then, follow me. So I guided him back down to where he knew where he was, and I headed off in the direction. And I was camping up on the top. There's like a tarn, like a little lake kind of thing, like a pond, but
Okay.
like quite big. And it's got like a little island on it, and it's in the middle of the mountains, quite high up. I think it's at like 700 meters, the tarn. And it's isolated. Like when you're camping there, you are on your own. There is nobody for miles around. So I was camping there, so I tracked him down and then went back up on my own. And then about 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a noise, like a rustling, and I was like, oh, there's someone around. Like, it's quite an odd time for people to be around. Again, I came out, and it was three peakers again. They went, excuse me,
Oh, really?
how do we get down? I'm like, use your map and your compass. We
don't
haven't got
have-
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a surprise.
And how many dead phones?
Yeah. Come on. And I'm like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. At least you've got head torches. Well done, guys. You know, this time you brought some technology with you.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I'm just like, I get it. You know, with our phones nowadays, you can do so much, and
Well, it is
they're
true, but
absolutely amazing.
you shouldn't be relying on just this.
Just like paper and a compass, they don't run out of battery.
No.
Like they're good. Like
you
even
can, you
GPS.
can bring them extra. I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
even GPSs. Like, so I went as I said, like last week, I was in the Lake District with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't even planning on going hiking. We weren't planning on doing anything. We were going there. It was a friend's, like a catch up. So we were just going for a few drinks, maybe a little hill, but you know, nothing.
That's it, yeah.
Not a mountain, not anything. And even then, in my bag, and all we ended up doing was a pub crawl. And in the bag that I had, I still had a map and a compass of the area. And they were like, "What's in the bag, Luke?" And I'm like, "Map and compass." They're like, "Why?" I don't know.
I don't want to get lost.
But there's a
Yeah.
good chance that we might end up on a hill somewhere. And if we do, I ain't getting stuck on it.
Yeah.
That's my point. I'm like, for the weight of it, just put it in the bag.
Yep.
Like, just
And it
Why
can
not?
it can be, you know, like a cheap compass. It's
yeah,
more
I mean,
than
they're
nothing.
not like
You don't have
any
to-
yeah, it doesn't have to be like you know the top silver like you know the best compass in the world. That is just if it tells you where north is, good. That'll do. Just
So you know,
do that and go.
I know what we will do an episode in the future about a basic survival set.
Yeah, things that you should have in your bag.
Doesn't matter
regardless.
what you do or where you go. It should be
Yes.
something basically. That will be interesting. I think it will
definitely.
be. And
Duct tape.
yeah, well, yeah,
Man, duct tape.
but just rope, just para rope, just
yeah,
a bit of rope.
have you seen them bracelets that you can
Yeah,
get?
yeah, I've
like
got
the
a few,
para
yeah.
rope bracelet thing. I think they're really cool.
Well, the smart thing is that you can carry them so easily. You just, you know, it's like
Yeah,
a
it's
bracelet.
like 10 meters of paracable. Or
But when you
paracord
need
or
a
something
rope,
that's in there.
then you know
Yeah,
you
it's
can
just
do
that
so
little-
much with rope. Yeah.
My friend, I was mountain biking in the Lake District, and my friend went over his handlebars, going downhill, and he went straight over, hit a rock, went straight over his handlebars, and obviously put his hands out in front of him to stop himself. Hit his palm, like the bone palm of his hand, on a rock, and which obviously sent his right shoulder backwards, and he broke his forearm where the bone protruded. So it was a complete, you know, real good break.
Open fracture.
A completely open fracture. And he went into shock. And we were quite a way down the mountain, but it was, you know, it was quite late and it was quite bad weather. It was a bit muggy and it was very cloudy. And I was like, at this point, if we do sit here and call mountain rescue, you're looking at like 2 or 3 hours before they turn up.
just a
Then they're
waste
going
of
to try
time.
and carry you down. And like, all they're going to say is, okay, it's your arm.
We'll take you to.
Walk down, like man up. Sorry, but you're just gonna have to walk it off, and we'll hold your arm. You know, I know it's gonna hurt. And I was like, that's just not an option.
Nope.
I was like, I'm really sorry, dude, but that's just not an option. So I set his arm again by literally sat him down, and I was like, this is really, really gonna hurt, but believe me, it's gonna do you good in the long run. Because it just happened, and it wasn't like you know,
No, no, it
out,
was-
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
no,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
it just needed putting back in so it's not sticking out too far.
So it's still underneath the skin.
Yeah, it
just-
was like
you
it was a
could
cut.
see
You
it.
could see the
Yeah.
you could see it a little bit on. So I was like, right, we're just gonna have to we're just gonna put it back a little bit so I can wrap it up and we'll deal with that as we go, kind of thing.
Oh no, you used the duct tape for his mouth to keep him silent. That's I get it. Yeah.
So he said to me, he said, all right, yeah, I think that's, we talked about this and I was like, this is what I'm thinking. There was 3 of us. And I was like, we all discussed it. And obviously he was in shock, so his opinion didn't really count.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we all discussed, and I said, this is, we need to either walk off. And he was like, I can't. I said, right, in that case, then we're going to have to set it because we're going to have to wrap your arm up. We're going to have to make a splinter, really, to hold it in shape. So we pulled it back into shape by putting some socks in his mouth. So he had something to bite onto, and then just done it. And then put a T-shirt around his arm, and then use duct tape really, really tightly around it to make the splint, because duct tape really hold its shape really, really well.
Yeah.
So we used that on the way down, and then I carried my bike and his bike, and then my friend carried his bike and him. And we all walked down, put him in the car, got him to hospital. Got the hospital, and obviously they just cut straight up the duct tape splint, took it straight off, and they said, oh, it's really, really good. You've done a really good job there. And then when he went and got an X-ray, they were like, "Oh, it's set really, really well as well."
Well,
and I was like, "Yeah,
happy
you're
little
welcome." And they were like, "Oh, how did this happen then?" Because obviously it's been a fracture out, but it's set really well. And I was like, "Oh, well." So I explained the situation to the doctor, and he was like, "Probably not the best thing to have done."
No, I won't advise anyone.
Don't
just to
do that.
No, yeah.
Because obviously you can do so much more damage. If you go too hard or if you go too fast.
Depending on the time and the situation, and it's a decision moment. You have
it's
to
yeah,
do
it's
there.
like you're there. You're like, okay, we've got a left or a right here, and we don't know which one's going to be the right option. We're just going to have to take a choice. And at the time, we thought, at least if it's in the right line, then because it could be like, it took us like 2 hours, about an hour and a half to get down, then an hour to get to a hospital. So it's like 2.5 hours, nearly 3 hours. So if that was still out, the swelling and the amount, and I was just like, at least if it's in place, when we do get to the hospital, they can start. They can do whatever they need to do, and it's not going to cause them more. But yeah,
you will get less swelling probably if you have it set already.
Yeah, at least it saves that kind of.
Cool.
But yeah, I think duct tape. That's my put forward.
We'll do a complete episode about it. It will be interesting. Talking about more experiences around the topic of a basic kit for outdoor activities, maybe something specific. Last week I was thinking of an idea of the waterproofing, because I follow a few YouTubers who do like diving in rivers and finding all types of phones and also bags filled with wallets and car keys, and there's always water inside the just zip tight bags.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's so simple. Just buy any store can for like grease and the big tanks for a liter or something. These are completely tight. It's so simple. Go to a restaurant and ask for a big empty bucket with a seal cover. It's always watertight.
They're really difficult to, if you're just going out walking, though, to carry around.
Well, no,
why have you got that bucket of fat in you?
And even if you hire one of those kayaks with all the made up seats, you get a big screw
like the screw bins,
top bin, so that's how I was like, you can anywhere in the world, if you find civilization, just go to a restaurant and ask for an empty bucket.
Yeah.
Because they won't use all the empty buckets.
Yeah, they don't. They just
they won't.
Okay.
Yeah, and as long they can of course they can break, they can rupture, but you can replace them so easily.
Yeah, that's well.
And when they fall in the water, they
actually.
float.
Yeah.
So you can easily. There it is. Yeah. Just sail down the river. You'll find it. Yeah.
I use I have quite a lot of roll bags.
Oh,
I use a lot of roll bags for that kind of.
I had one and I used it for my tools, and they keep poking through.
Yeah.
So I can't use it to be waterproof.
That's the only thing.
Yeah. So the bag still says waterproof, but it's really not.
Don't trust it.
Yeah.
It's full of lies. It's full of it.
All right. Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for this week. Yeah. But we'll be back next week for a second episode. So if you're listening to this episode, please send us your comments, your ideas, your stories, or anything to podcast@weeklyoutdoors.com.
That reminds me, we should talk about the weeklyoutdoors.com. It's a fantastic new website.
Apart from the podcast, we also created the website, which is called The Weekly Outdoors. It's very easy. And on The Weekly Outdoors, we are trying to collect as many activities all around the world, which are fun to do. So we made all these categories and, trying to contact all the businesses to join on in the website.
We found that when you're trying to do a new activity in an area that you're not too sure of, or you're not really been there before, or you're not really sure what's going on around you, if you Google it, you get all of the shops, you get a lot of information, which is really, really good.
And the other thing is you need to be specific. So if you're searching for, let's say, canoeing, you'll find something that does canoeing in the region you're searching for. But if you don't know what to do and you like
you'll find
outdoor
everything
activities,
else with it.
well, you can search for the outdoor,
Yeah.
But then you find the shops and everything,
Yeah.
like you say. But in this case, you can go for just a location and see whatever there is
See
around.
what higher places, or see what natural places,
Yep.
or see what companies there are. So what we're doing is we are creating the Google for Outdoors in a really simple way. So you can just go, I want to do something today in this area. What is going on in this area?
Yeah.
And it'll tell you straight away.
And I said, last year I went to Greece and I spent a few evenings searching for activities and locations, which I wanted to do during my holiday. And it took me a lot of time to find the places. And I think I still missed some beautiful possibilities. And that's, we're trying
That's what we're trying to fix.
Absolutely.
We're trying to make it nice and easy so you can go, I'm going here on holiday. What can I do there?
Right.
And then this
I want
site,
to be
we
actively
say,
outdoors. Yeah.
This site says you can do this. Do it.
Yeah.
So head over to theweeklyoutdoors.com and check it out. Again, send us an email at podcast@theweeklyoutdoors.com if you have any thoughts for the podcast, or if you even have any thoughts about the website.
Yeah, let us
You
know.
can send it there, and we can still check them out. We can,
We'll reply.
We'll reply.
Yeah, if necessary, we'll reply. Otherwise, if you send your stories or something, we'll get in contact or use your ideas. And,
If you don't want us to use your name, tell us. If you want to be like, if you've got some
then don't tell us if you don't want to use it.
or tell us your name, but then tell us that you want to remain anonymous, and we'll make up a fake name. It's pretty much going to either be Billy Bob or Bilious Bob. That's the female is Bilious Betty.
Bilious
Bob.
Alright, good.
But anyway, have a really good week. Get outdoors, and goodbye from me.
Yeah, well, likewise here. Thank you for listening, and hope to have you back